The unforgettable disappearance of Jenna Marlowe, Pendleton, Oregon, 1998. On a brisk October evening in 1998, 22-year-old Jenna Marlowe slipped into the dense shadows of the Blue Mountain foothills outside Pendleton, Oregon, and vanished without a trace and no cell phone call. No eyewitnesses, no signs of struggle, just an empty trail winding through ancient pines, where the last whispers of her footsteps faded into silence. Before we dive in, if you enjoy chilling true stories and unsettling mysteries, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you know when new videos are available. Jenna had been a quiet fixture in Pendleton, known to friends and family as both fiercely independent and quietly introspective. A recent graduate of Eastern Oregon University, she had returned home that summer after completing her degree in environmental science. Her work with the local conservation group had earned her respect in the community, as she regularly volunteered to restore damaged riverbanks and survey wildlife habitats. Yet beneath her purposeful exterior was a young woman wrestling with an unsettled restlessness, one that had grown increasingly apparent in the weeks leading up to her disappearance. On the afternoon of October 15th, Jenna was seen by neighbors walking her usual route along the Blue Mountain Scenic Trail, a winding path that snakes through dense forests and rocky outcrops roughly 5 miles west of town. The weather was incredible, the sky overcast but clearing, with the golden hue of autumn leaves casting a muted glow over the landscape. Jenna had told a close friend she planned a brief hike to clear her mind, something she'd done many times before. She carried a small backpack, a notebook, and her camera, tools she often used to document the natural world she loved so dearly. Her mother, Diane Marlowe, recalled their last conversation. She was quiet, a little distracted maybe, said she needed some time alone to think. I didn't think anything of it at the time. It was just another day. But that evening, when Jenna failed to return by dusk, concern quickly turned to alarm. The trail where she was last seen is rugged but well-marked, frequented by hikers and local outdoor enthusiasts. Search teams combed the area in the hours following her disappearance, but found no trace, no footprints, no discarded belongings, nothing to suggest what had become of her. The official police report, filed under case number PD 98-4517, noted the baffling absence of evidence. No indication of foul play was found at the scene, the file read, and there was no clear reason why Ms. Marlowe would voluntarily disappear without notifying family or friends. Investigators interviewed friends, co-workers, and acquaintances, searching for any clue or motive. Jenna's past was examined for signs of distress or unusual behavior, but none were found. Pendleton itself is a small town steeped in ranching traditions, situated amid open plains and stunning mountain vistas. It has long been a place where everyone knows their neighbors, and strange disappearances are rare. The Blue Mountain Trail is a local favorite, popular among hikers and photographers who seek solitude and natural beauty. That a young woman so familiar with the area could vanish here, where others came and went regularly, only deepened the mystery. Neighbors recalled seeing Jenna that afternoon around 3 p.m., calmly walking the trailhead before disappearing into the thickening woods. Her camera and notebook were never recovered. Local volunteers joined the search efforts for weeks, scouring the forest floor and examining every crevice and hidden clearing. Dogs tracked the area, but lost or sent near an old logging road that intersects the trail, a location later dubbed the Dead Fork by those involved in the search. Despite the passage of time, the case remains open in the Pendleton Police Department, classified as a missing person investigation with a high priority designation. Periodic reviews of the evidence and witness statements continue, but with no new leads, the trail has grown cold, unsolved and unanswered. Jenna Marlowe's disappearance is a haunting void in the community's memory, a story whispered with solemn respect and unyielding hope. The last known moment, a solitary figure stepping into the forest shadows, remains frozen in time, an echo of a life interrupted, waiting for answers that have yet to come. On October 15, 1998, the town of Pendleton awoke to an ordinary Thursday, its rhythm shaped by ranching, local businesses, and the quiet beauty of the Blue Mountains looming in the distance. Few could have predicted that by nightfall, a community would be gripped by one of its most perplexing and haunting mysteries. 6:30 a.m. Jenna Marlowe's day began at her family home on South Main Street. Diane Marlowe's mother, Diane, remembers the morning vividly. She was up early, made herself a cup of coffee, and sat quietly at the kitchen table. Nothing unusual, just her usual routine. Jenna appeared calm, dressed casually in hiking clothes, ready for the day's plans she had quietly set. 7:15 a.m. Jenna left the house, informing Diane that she intended to spend the afternoon hiking along the Blue Mountain Scenic Trail. She mentioned wanting to take photographs and do some note-taking for a project with her environmental group. She seemed determined, focused, Diane recalled, but there was a seriousness about her, not her usual bright self. 8 a.m. A neighbor, Harold Jenkins, saw Jenna leaving the nearby grocery store on Oregon Avenue. Harold, a retired schoolteacher, recalled she bought some bottled water, a small snack. Seemed normal, polite. She gave a small smile when I said hello. This was the last confirmed sighting of Jenna in town before she headed toward the trailhead. Timeline of October 15th, the last known movements. 12:30 p.m. Jenna arrived at the Blue Mountain Trail parking lot, located roughly 5 miles west of Pendleton along Forest Road 19. The lot was mostly empty at the time, with only 2 other cars parked, one belonging to a couple on a short day hike and another to a local forest ranger. She parked her pale blue 1993 Subaru Legacy, license plate ORE3 LNR72, facing the trail entrance. This vehicle would become a critical piece of the puzzle, as it remained untouched and unlocked for days after her disappearance. 1 p.m. Jenna was seen by trail maintenance worker Craig Simmons, who was repairing a broken sign near the trailhead. Simmons would later tell police, "She asked me some questions about the trail conditions where the best views were. She was polite and calm. Nothing seemed out of place." This was the last person to see Jenna before she entered the woods, between 1:15 and 2 p.m. There are no confirmed sightings during this period. Cell phone records, though limited in 1998, showed no outgoing or incoming calls from Jenna's number. Her small handheld camera and notebook were reportedly in her backpack, which remained in her car. The unfolding concern. 5:30 p.m. Jenna's mother, Diane, expected her daughter home by early evening. When Jenna did not return, Diane contacted friends and co-workers, confirming no one had seen or heard from her since she left that morning. Anxiety grew. 6:45 p.m. Diane called the Pendleton Police Department to report Jenna missing. She spoke with Officer Mark Tully, who filed the initial missing person report, case number PD 98-4517. Tully's notes describe a calm but concerned mother. Ms. Marlowe provided details about her daughter's plans, habits, and recent behavior. There was no indication of Jenna leaving town or having any conflicts. The search begins. 7 p.m. Responding officers, joined by local volunteer search and rescue teams, converge on the Blue Mountain Trail. The area was dense with thick stands of Douglas fir, steep ravines, and rocky outcroppings, terrain that, while familiar to locals, could easily conceal someone. Searchers methodically swept the first 3 miles of the trail, but found no sign of Jenna. Her car remained in the parking lot, intact, with no personal items left behind except the faint scent of her favorite lavender shampoo inside the vehicle. Witness accounts and unusual observations. In the days following, investigators conducted dozens of interviews, piecing together a clearer picture of the day. Kara Henderson, a hiker who arrived around 3 p.m., reported seeing a young woman matching Jenna's description, walking briskly, but appearing distracted near the Dead Fork intersection, where the trail forks and one path leads to an abandoned logging road. Kara could not confirm if Jenna were alone. Local hunter Bill Fraser told police he noticed a figure moving through the trees near the old logging road at approximately 4 p.m. He initially thought it was a fellow hunter, but later realized it did not match any known persons in the area. Fraser's description was vague, and his sighting was considered a potential red herring. Forest Ranger Carla Mitchell was on patrol in the area and heard what she described as a faint, muffled sound around 4:15 p.m. near a creek crossing. She found no evidence on follow-up, but kept the detail in her report. Physical evidence, or lack thereof. The search teams documented key physical facts. Jenna's Subaru remained at the parking lot, unlocked but undisturbed. No personal items, such as her purse, keys, or camera, were found along. No personal items, such as her purse, keys, or camera, were found along the trail. Dogs trained in human scent initially picked up Jenna's trail near the parking lot, but lost it abruptly near the Dead Fork logging road. No footprints or signs of a struggle were located. Her cell phone, which she always carried, was never found. No suspicious vehicles were reported in the area that day, according to highway patrol logs. Police investigation and family response. The Pendleton Police Department classified Jenna's disappearance as a high-priority missing person case, mobilizing resources from county and state agencies. Detective Samuel Ortega was assigned as the lead investigator. Ortega's approach was methodical and cautious. In a case like this, we must separate fact from speculation and pursue every lead without bias. The family endured a nightmare of uncertainty. Diane Marlowe described the experience as a slow, unbearable wait. Friends and co-workers organized vigils and search parties, hoping to draw attention to the case. Media coverage and public reaction. Local newspapers, including the Pendleton Observer and the Oregonian, ran front-page stories covering Jenna's disappearance within days. The press emphasized her positive community involvement and the mystery of the vanished hiker. Rumors began to circulate in Pendleton's close-knit social circles. Some speculated that Jenna might have run away to start anew, citing her introspective mood. Others whispered about an alleged dispute with a former boyfriend, though police found no evidence or reports of domestic issues. A particularly persistent local rumor suggested that a reclusive hermit who lived near the Dead Fork logging road might have been involved, an idea dismissed by authorities as unsubstantiated. Red herrings and false leads. Two developments temporarily diverted investigators. The anonymous tip. 3 days after Jenna's disappearance, police receive a call from an unidentified person claiming to have seen a young woman matching Jenna's description near a gas station 30 miles away in Pendleton's neighboring county. Surveillance footage was reviewed, but it showed no matching person, and the tip was later determined to be a false lead. The abandoned campsite. Searchers discovered an old campsite along a remote section of the trail, marked by signs of recent fire and discarded food wrappers. Initial excitement gave way to disappointment when the camp was linked to a group of local hunters who had used the site days before Jenna disappeared. The lingering questions. Despite exhaustive efforts, Jenna's disappearance confounded investigators. Her trail disappeared into the wilderness, leaving only questions. Had she been injured or lost, unable to call for help? Was she abducted or coerced? Could something else have happened? An accident or sudden medical emergency? Detective Ortega remained candid. We have no definitive answers. Every lead must be explored, every possibility considered. As autumn slipped into winter, the case grew colder, but not forgotten. The community continued to hold on to hope, organizing memorials and pressuring anyone with information come forward. A case that defies closure. Nearly a quarter century has passed since Jenna Marlowe disappeared on that cold October afternoon in 1998. Despite exhaustive investigations, painstaking searches, and community efforts, no definitive answers have emerged. The case remains one of Oregon's most baffling cold files, a haunting void in the peaceful landscape of Pendleton. Today, we revisit the evidence and examine the most compelling theories put forth by investigators, locals, and experts. Each theory sheds light on different possibilities, but none conclusively explains what truly happened to Jenna. Theory 1, abduction. The first and perhaps most unsettling theory is that Jenna was the victim of an abduction. Supporting points. Sudden disappearance with no signs of accident. Jenna was an experienced outdoorswoman who knew the terrain well. There was no evidence she got lost or injured. No personal belongings found on the trail. Her backpack, camera, and other items were missing, which might suggest she was taken forcibly and her possessions were removed. Sighting near the Dead Fork logging road. Several witnesses reported seeing an unknown individual or figure in the vicinity. The old logging road's isolation could have made it a convenient spot for a criminal act. Absence of physical evidence. The lack of footprints or disturbance could suggest an abduction involving transportation off the trail. Challenges to this theory. No credible suspects ever emerged, and no known criminal activity. was reported in the area at the time. No ransom demands or contact attempts from possible abductors. Local law enforcement found no physical signs of a struggle, Detective Samuel Ortega remarked in a later interview. While we can't discount foul play, the lack of physical evidence makes the abduction theory difficult to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Theory 2. Voluntary disappearance. Some speculate Jenna may have chosen to disappear, to start a new life or escape pressures. Supporting points. Emotional state. Friends recall that Jenna had become introspective and withdrawn in the weeks leading up to her disappearance, possibly indicating internal struggles. No evidence of plans or conflict. No concrete signs pointed out side threats, lending some credence to the idea she might have wanted to leave quietly. Missing phone and belongings. The absence of her items could suggest she intentionally abandoned them to avoid detection. False lead from distant gas station tip. This suggests that she might have traveled a considerable distance from Pendleton. Challenges to this theory. Jenna was close with her family and friends and had no known history of attempting to disappear. Leaving without informing anyone would be out of character, according to those who knew her best. No sightings or contact after October 15th, despite extensive investigations. Diane Marlowe expressed heartbreak at this possibility. I don't believe she would leave without telling me, but when you don't know, you try to hold on to every hope. Theory 3. Accident or natural causes. Given the rugged environment, some suggest Jenna may have suffered an accident or medical emergency. Supporting points. Challenging terrain. The Blue Mountain Trail includes steep ravines, unstable rocks, and dense forest, where a fall or injury could lead to unconsciousness or death. Lack of communication. Without a cell phone or radio contact, Jenna might have been unable to call for help. Search difficulties. Despite intensive efforts, dense underbrush and rocky terrain can conceal remains for years. Unconfirmed muffled sound reported by ranger. While inconclusive, it might suggest Jenna was injured and trapped. Challenges to this theory. No remains, clothing, or personal effects have ever been found despite years of searches. Trained dogs lost their scent abruptly, which might indicate she left the area alive or was moved. Hikers and locals frequent the area. A body or evidence would likely have been found. An unofficial theory, something beyond explanation. Among locals, whispered speculation includes more unusual possibilities, such as paranormal or supernatural elements, although these remain fringe ideas without supporting evidence. Context. Stories of strange lights or eerie sounds in the Blue Mountains circulated before and after Jenna's disappearance. Pendleton, steeped in Native American folklore and frontier history, has long been associated with legends about the lost souls of the forest. Some believe Jenna might have fallen victim to forces beyond human comprehension, a theory often discussed in hushed, speculative conversations. Official investigation status and continuing efforts. The Pendleton Police Department continues to review the case periodically. In 2018, a renewed cold case task force re-examined the evidence with modern forensic technology, including DNA analysis of collected materials, though no matches were found. Geospatial mapping of search efforts to identify overlooked areas. Public appeals on social media and true crime forums. Unfortunately, no breakthroughs have emerged. Community impact and lasting legacy. Jenna Marlowe's disappearance has left a profound mark on Pendleton. The community holds annual remembrance hikes in her honor. Local schools incorporate discussions about safety and wilderness preparedness. Inspired by the case, the mystery continues to foster a sense of collective vigilance and empathy. Diane Marlowe has become an advocate for missing persons awareness, often stating, "If sharing Jenna's story can help even one family, it's worth the pain." The disappearance of Jenna Marlowe remains an open wound, a puzzle with missing pieces scattered across time and memory. Was Jenna taken against her will? Did she choose to vanish into the unknown? Or was her fate sealed by an accident in the wild? The truth lies somewhere between these possibilities, obscured by silence. What do you think happened to Jenna Marlowe? Was it a tragic accident or something far more sinister? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more content relating to horrors and missing cases.